So, how do you reckon this world would be run if it was run by women?
Yeah, I wonder.
And again, this is a very interesting thing, right? And the reason why I say that is because most women are single parents, yes, that bring up children on their own, and most men shirk from their responsibilities as being a father. Not all, but most. And there are a lot of mums out there that bring up kids on their own, boys and girls alike, and seem to do a fantastic job of it because most boys grow into men that end up loving and needing their mums. So what do you reckon the world would be? Would it be more peaceful? Because here in this country, I think that when we look at it, most CEOs, they're male.
Yeah.
They're not female.
Yeah.
And then what happens if females were to run different things like housing associations, direction of doctors, sort of understanding how to direct a company and different things like that, or a country? I mean, the House of Lords here, which is kind of weird, really, isn't it? Lords. I don't know what you would call it for a female. Can a female become a lord? Perhaps not. It's more of a lady.
Yeah.
We don't have a House of Ladies. And I think there's one person gone into the House of Lords at the moment. House of Lords and the lady. I think it's a good move in the right direction, but it's not enough to be satisfied. And another thing, because, this is really provocative thoughts for me, I think that the only way we can reach unity is to have a balancing in the scales, but the balance of the scales need to be... It's been so much in the favour of the scales tipped towards men, and men being CEOs and running the world and running the show and religious this and this, and Eve went and did this and this and got spoken to by what a load of rubbish. I'm sorry, that part of it, I don't believe that at all. That seems like it's been twisted. I think the only one that stands for, whether we talk religion, that there is a male and female is God's wife. And I think that comes from the Jewish understanding of it, is it? That they have God's wife is within this. Now, that's very interesting, to be honest. So a belief back as far as you can go, but in different, is it called doctrines or adaptations from that? Where you then have something else that is forged from that belief system. Then there is this, and this. And then there's a lot of slander around Jesus, Mary, and his wife, and different things like that. Or girlfriend, I'm not sure how that all works out, but still, there's always this negativity around women, isn't there?
Yeah.
Wherever you look at it. And that sort of gives the impression, as you growing into a world where you're hearing that, is that not a doctrine where you're being subject to how to follow a mold to keep women under the thumb, to keep women at the kitchen, to keep women inside a house, to keep women so that they don't have equal pay, so that their voice is not heard? Now, I got a twin sister, so I saw it with my sister, how different she was treated. And yet, because you're twins, they say you are both as bad as one another. No one ever says you're both as good as one another. And you are both treated equally. Why is there this? What's further from the truth, especially when going to work and different things like that? I was paid slightly more than she was. That was very weird. I just found that very odd. It actually pissed me off quite a bit, to be honest. But then when we grow up, we are growing up with this sort of indoctrination that it's a man's world. And that is an unbalanced scale, and it has been for a very long time. So the only way to sort of order the planet into a more of balance, there needs to be a tipping of the scales so that women are more in areas, and a lot of them, and there seems to be less from men, would need to be in that in order to tip the scale in the opposite way, before the scales then begin to be leveled out, and then you have men and women. Because if not, that wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be right, and that wouldn't be accurate. But it needs to be authentic and pure women, not ones that have been tainted of how to act by men. Much like a parrot in a way, but no, more so like, it's hard to explain it, what I'm trying to say. How do you not know that this couldn't be corrupted in some way, that a woman couldn't be taught by a man, you say this, now you say that, now you say this, now you say that. Because you can have it so that, you could look at Elizabeth Truss. that she did do all of those things, or she didn't do those things just because men wanted to set the stage, make her go into that when they knew that it was going to drop, blame her for it, and then be like, see, without ever saying a word, see, women don't know what they're doing. See, they don't know what they're talking about. See what I mean? We've got to be very careful that there isn't going to be chair kicking out from underneath women. Put them in power, and loads of people around them are going to be, they're going to have a very hard road at this. They're going to have to unite and be very cautious and vigilant in this journey. Because people, men, in a man's world, might just try and tip the scale. Might press a few buttons here. Might stir some not so nice things to trigger off a war in certain things in order to say, look, see, they don't know what they're doing. I don't follow that belief myself to say, see, that's... I am very aware, and I think that it's important that other people be aware of that too, that if you still have a lot of men in different power positions who don't like the leadership from a female, they can try and kick the stool out from underneath women in order to then start championing the narrative. See, we know what we're doing, us men, blah, blah, blah. So, again, I do believe that the scales need to tip in favour for women, and there needs to be a lot of women, in order to balance the scale. And then there would be a movement out of that would then be an equilibrium where men and women find themselves to be equal. But I don't think that happens without having the scale tipped in women's favour first. So I love this thing where you've got Carmilla and Ursula von der Leyen and New South Wales, I slipped my mind her name, where they have female. And there was another one in Germany. I forget her name.
Angela Merkel was for years.
Yeah, and I just wonder. And then we had the Queen.
Yeah. Slovak had president.
Yeah. So under that, you notice there's a lot of balance, a lot of nurture. And then I wonder if we had them in housing associations or different things like this, or hospitals and different things like that, that they would extend that nurturing far beyond. Because, you know, I think that that's very important, and especially in the animal kingdom as well, especially. I know this sounds silly, but again, it's relevant because it's factual, because you see it within the animal kingdom, that it's females that will adopt other cubs. It's the female in that. They will adopt other cubs from another litter, and treat them as equally as their own, without no different, and therefore that is instilled in most women, if not all women. So, and then there's that nurturing as well. So to be able to nurture, how would the environment look? To be able to nurture, how would children, men and women look in that? Because they already understand how to treat people fairly, because boys and girls grow into women and men. And when you see this is a very beautiful thing that they can do, and most men are just like, fuck that. And I'm not speaking for myself, and I'm not projecting. It's what I've seen. Not all men, but most men. And it seems to be most women take on and go above and beyond for most children, regardless of their gender. Do you see? And it's quite beautiful, actually, to be fair. And I don't think women get enough credit in that. And you need to stay over there because you're this person. Or you really need to go over there, sort of thing. And I don't think that if there's any woman out there that you want to go for a director, go for it. Go for it. And see what you can do. And I think that then you become the next level of pioneers that come out in the world. And yeah, I would love to see that. That's one thing I'd love to see, is a world stage full of women. Not because of that reason, but because I just wonder, what is your potential? Your unseen potential. I mean, I've seen most of your potential in a lot of other aspects, but what is your potential in this? And then would we have housing squalors that children are growing up in? Because it seems to be that most men that are directing these don't care about children, don't care about other people, don't care about the rules. It's all about me and my money. And I just wonder if women will have a different approach to that. And we've seen the way the world is operating with if the House of Lords write our laws and do different things. And if we have a woman in there and many other women in there, and then this turns into women, I just wonder how much more nurturing the environment would be, how much more looked after it would be, how much more caring about the environment would it be, how much more of an environment would it be for children, regardless of their gender. So the scale is tipped in men, then it needs to tip into women in order to rectify the scale, and then that's when you find balance. It can't jump the process. It must go in favour of women. And more often than just a few here and there, just to keep up appearances. And there shouldn't be no kicking the chair out from underneath them at all. So it would take a lot from men who are not man-minded to support as many as these women as possible in these positions. And it would take for the best intelligence groups to also support and prop these individuals who are in power positions to make sure that there can be no kicking out from underneath them. No stools in order just to make it back into a man's world. And I think for our children's benefit, all of our children's benefit in this world, that is crucial. So that's my belief. That's another wish I have. That is to see it in this way. And then what is the outcome of that? Because I'm very curious about that. Yeah. I have a vision, and I wonder if this matches what I see, or will it go above and beyond what I even saw and what anybody else even sees. And then if it does go on above and beyond that, oof, what a sight for the mind. That would be very beautiful. And then you would then see a approach of balance and the truest form of unity. Yeah. So very interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting sort of world, and where we could go and what outcomes could happen. And now that would be interesting. I would love to see that. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, but that's my core on what I believe. And I think I've been influenced, you could say that, from a young age. So yeah, that would be something. So let's see what happens, and then let's see if, dreams do come true or wishes do come true, and so forth and so on. What a world. What a world.
It is.